Good morning, welcome to your reading. It's not really morning anymore, it's like 1 o'clock, but it's morning for me. Today we're going to be looking at where you are in life and like your current life path and where you're headed. And so I'm going to give you 3 piles to select from. There's going to be the first one. And you're going to pick your pile and then you can skip it anytime to your reading once you're ready. I don't think you saw that. You weren't supposed to see it yet. You may have saw that one. On the back, the 9 of Swords. Some anxiety about where you're heading, I feel like, generally. And then I also have 3 rocks for you to pick from. They're all kind of unique. So like this one, this is pile 3. It is like a blue color. And like it's I think it's a piece of glass or something. That's like covered in like earth and rocks. I don't know, it's really pretty though. This one has like some red on it and it's like a flat like stone with a pyrite in it and stuff. Real shiny, maybe mica, not pyrite, I don't know. They're all natural stones that were found. And this one has like pink all over it. And so it's just like a piece of stone that has like something pink on it. It might be paint, but I don't think it's paint. I'm not sure, but it's very pretty. And so pick one of the 3 piles and then you can skip to your reading when you're ready. Hi, pile 1, welcome to your reading. So you chose the stone with like the pink on it. Like it's just a piece of rock with pink. It's really pretty. But yes, you chose this one, and your card is the Queen of Pentacles. And so I feel like there's someone who very much loves you, who like very much cares for you and has like sweet emotions for you, that's trying to or wants to offer you guidance. You probably look up to this person. It could be like a mother or something. And you should listen to them maybe. That's what I'm getting though. So our first question is, where are you right now in life? Like what surrounds you and what decisions and stuff? What is around you? Where are you? That's basically the question. I got notes over here too, and I left a card. But I have notes, so I'm gonna be reading them as we go. But where are you? The King of Wands. So you're probably very much like choosing your own direction. You're being a leader in your life. But you're not sure where you're going, I feel like. So that's kind of the point of this reading. And the Page of Swords. So it looks like you're someone that people definitely look up to. You're making a lot of decisions for yourself and you're trying to like, this is 10 of Wands again. That was the card that was left on the bottom, so that's funny. But you look like somebody who people look up to, you look like a leader, and you look like you're kind of walking in circles. Like you're staying in the same place. And so people are watching you kind of walk in a circle, and maybe you feel like a little scared, or like they're like a little scared, and like you're just not sure what to do. And that's kind of where I see you right now. There's lots of options around you, like it's a circle, like the wheel keeps turning. You have the lion there twice too, which is kind of cute. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I feel like you're just walking in a circle, and like that's why this person probably wants to help. So, what do you want? That's the next question. What do you want? What decision would you want to make? What's the thing you want that like you can't make a decision about? Or that you're trying to like, you know, choose a direction to go in. What do you want? The 9 of Swords. That was also the general question earlier. Like the general card at the bottom. And so I feel like you definitely want something that's gonna like relieve your anxiety. You want something that's gonna make your life easier, but like you don't want to not work. You just want something that's not gonna be so stressful. Something that's not gonna give you anxiety. Something that's not gonna make you anxious. You want stability. At the back, we have the 3 of Pentacles. So you want to work in an environment where like you feel comfortable, you feel at home, and you feel grounded and stable. You want to work in an environment that isn't stressful. It's not that it's not stressful. It's not like mentally stressful maybe. And so you like working with your hands. I feel like you like material possessions, the material world. And I feel like you don't necessarily like people watching you that much. And so you want to like work on your own, maybe independently. You like being a leader. And so yeah, let's see what you're leaving behind. So what's being left behind? Because you're about to change directions. This reading is actually supposed to be called if you're at a crossroads or something like that. But yes, what are you leaving behind? I just remembered that. What's being left behind? The Queen of Swords. We'll do that one for the last one. The Two of Swords. And so that's that crossroads I was talking about. And the Sun. Very interesting. So you're leaving behind maybe like somebody who was very negative to you, or maybe it's your self-talk that was very negative, but you're leaving behind indecision. So you're leaving behind like this waiting, this spinning energy. You're trying to move towards joy, and you're trying to leave behind like talking yourself out of being happy. And so I feel like in the past you have been like, recently, you have been like talking yourself out of what you want. You've been talking yourself out of your own happiness. You've been talking yourself, your mind's been spinning. And so you haven't been able to enjoy the moment. And you want to move to a place where you can enjoy the moment. You want to move out of this anxiety into this comfort and like, back to the sun. Because like even in your past, the sun is there. I just feel like you're not able to see it with the blindfold and like Queen of Swords. So you're talking yourself out of being happy. You're not allowing yourself to like see the joy that's around you. And then so next question, how can you find balance? How can you balance yourself and get prepared for your decision you have to make? How can you find a balance? We have Temperance. It's a balance card. And the Knight of Wands. The Star. That's really pretty. So, remembering to be hopeful will bring balance to your life, because you're going to be like looking at the thing you want and you're going to realize it's coming, and like not being pessimistic in that way, like where you don't expect it to come to you or something. So first off, being hopeful, that's what I'm getting. Second, remembering you're still young and adventurous. You're still in a point where like you don't have to make decisions very often. You're trying to see yourself as this King of Wands. You're trying to see yourself very stable and like this is what you want to be. And you're kind of coming up as a Knight of Wands, so like just got into like moving. You just got into like life and like adventure. And so it's like you want to go out and venture, but you also want to lead people. And it's hard for you to find that balance between like people are looking up to you, it's stressing you out, it's giving you anxiety, and you want to be this leadership role. But like these people looking up to you, it's like you're making mistakes and you feel like people shouldn't see your mistakes. But that's only human. It's human to make mistakes. It's human to learn as you go and to like progress into a higher like state of mind as you do that. And so I feel like you maybe were seen like as somebody who was very negative and like very critical. And so it's like you're trying to like find the balance. You're leaving that behind. You're trying to figure out like what to do next. With Temperance, knowing where you want to go is a big thing, and also accepting and like taking on the responsibility of getting the education you need. Because Temperance is all about higher education. It's about travel. And so maybe you need to travel somewhere and like learn something. Maybe you need to just experience more things. It's Sagittarius energy. So like adventure. And so that's what I'm getting with both these cards really is like adventure. And so not taking it so seriously, or like leadership role, like putting that on the side for a minute and taking care of yourself first. Because you can't be a leader, you can't take care of other people if you're not taking care of yourself. And so I feel like you're not necessarily supposed to find stability in being grounded. Like you're not supposed to be in one place when you find stability. Your stability is a balance between having a home and having adventure. And so balancing your leadership, your role of leading people and your role of leading yourself. And so you have to experience things to get to a leadership role. And so I feel like you need to go and get those experiences too. Okay, now what do you need? It's this card. What do you need? What are your needs? What needs need to be met? So this is like, what things do you, like, what needs need to be met? This is what you wanted, and now we're looking at your needs. That's the idea. The sun's on the back. But what are the needs? This is like the checklist. So you need to be slow and steady. You need to be balanced and calculated as you move like in this Knight of Wands energy. You also need to be moving, I feel like too, your current situation, you look like the lion that's like sitting there, and then both of your cards are coming up as like movement cards. And so you need to be moving, not sitting still, even though you want maybe to be sitting still. So you want to be sitting still, I feel like too, but it's time to move and to make change, like experience new things. Be 10 of Pentacles. And so you need this legacy. You need this like financial stability still. Let's see, one more card, please. And the 7 of Swords. You need to be very witty. You need to make very very calculated decisions, I guess is what I'm thinking. You need to make the Ten of Wands got left on the bottom again. Right? Yep. And so maybe you're very overwhelmed. I'm definitely getting an energy of like overwhelmed from that. That's funny. That's like 3 times I've seen it. And there's the Five of Wands too. You have like butterflies. You're very like, I'm kind of jittery too. Like I've been drinking coffee, but I'm kind of like vibrating a little bit. It's like anxiety. It's anxiety. It's that anxiety. It seems like you want to have anxiety too. Like you want to like sit at home and think about the problems rather than go out and fix them. And I feel like this is saying to move from that to like a tricky mindset to like a witty mindset to finding a smarter, cleverer way to solve your problems. Right now, you need to think of it like a good solution. You need to be in your head a little bit, back to this Queen of Swords energy, but like not harshly. You still need to be joyful and like you just need to be witty. You also need to make sure you're getting your stability, you're getting your money, that you're able to support yourself and you're able to be stable, and remembering to move slow and steadily. So you're going on this adventure. That's how you're gonna find balance, is by adventure. But it's gonna be a slow and steady adventure. It's gonna be like a progress that takes time and like is not impulsive. It's gonna be very like, it's gonna be very balanced in the like speed that you're going at, the pace. Okay, now let's see what your options are. So you're at this crossroads, you're about to make a decision as to what you're gonna do, and we need to see your options. The Ten of Wands. And Justice. That's one option. What are your options? What's option 2? The Eight of Hedgehogs. Let me make sure you can see that. Yes. And the Ten of Cups. Already, you're definitely a long-term thinker. Like, you're already thinking very much ahead in the future. You have 3 tens already. So yeah, definitely lots of thinking in the future. The Ten of Wands is coming up twice, and so the future is kind of overwhelming to you, I feel like. It's a little bit stressful, but at least your future's bright, right? Even your past was very bright. You just weren't able to see how in the past it was bright, I feel like. So maybe it's a perspective issue. And the Nine of Pentacles. Maybe. So, you have 3 options. One of them seems to be like a partnership, and it's kind of overwhelming to you. And so the next one would be like a loving partnership where you're assessing things and like discovering what you want. So I feel like this is more of your adventure path. This is like going out and like going to like a different country and exploring that country for like a year and like having some fun and learning through the culture. And then this path is more like working hard and staying inside and like closing yourself off to people and trying to master like yourself. And so this one's like go out adventure, this one's master yourself, and then this one's like a partnership. And so like building a business or like joining partners with your family or like buying something that like if your family owns a business, taking over that business. And so I feel like those are your 3 options kind of. It's either to adventure, to work hard and build your own like life for yourself, or to do what your family kind of wants, do what somebody else wants. And that's kind of where you want to think about your decisions as. You want to figure out like which one of these options you want. So what would make you the most happy? What would not overwhelm you? And what would really like prioritize your personal growth? Okay, now we're gonna ask what your next step forward is. We're gonna use this deck. I did mess up the decks that I used. I wanted to use this one for this pile, but it's okay. It didn't make a difference. So what is your next step forward? How can you move forward and make a decision? Because you do have 3 options here, and they all seem to promise a lot. The Hope, the Star again came out. But you seem to have three pretty good options that are very like imperative, or like that are very beneficial, I guess. I don't know. But you have 3 good options, so how are we gonna make a decision? Already we're getting to follow your heart, kind of. Boom. The Six of Cups. Healing. And so that's a big vibe I'm getting. What option that's in front of you, what would heal you the most? What's gonna exhaust you and what's gonna heal you? The Two of Swords. The Three of Wands, and one more card, please. the Ace of Wands. So, you have this cup full of like emotions, full of love, okay? What's gonna make that cup overflow into somebody else's cup? What's gonna allow you to manifest your dreams and heal other people at the same time? What's gonna allow you to give to other people and still allow you to like help yourself? How can you help yourself and help somebody else at the same time? Going on an inward journey would be recommended. And you can't really do that if you're like, this is saying to go on an inward journey like by yourself and then have also time for like to go out with people and like still like experience things and still get things. But you're gonna be trapped in like a small bubble, I feel like you're gonna be in a smaller, like, you're not gonna be traveling as much. And really, what did you want? You wanted to travel. You wanted to find balance and like travel. You wanted to explore. And so I feel like you should take on less responsibilities right now. And you should let responsibilities, like, you should take on responsibilities that are shorter term so you're not having to make like bigger decisions right now. You should start something new, I feel like, too. You don't necessarily want to come into something big that's going to be overwhelming and like that's going to take a lot of energy out of you to fix it. And so I feel like you want to start your own venture, you want to start your own journey, and you want to really discover yourself with this. And I feel like you want to help other people along the way, like I was saying. You want to pour into your cup and then pour into other people. And so whatever is going to allow you to heal yourself, heal other people, and start your own journey. Be your own adventure. Maybe try not to take on a leadership role right now. Maybe see yourself as that Knight of Wands energy, still be adventurous, and still be excited for like tomorrow, instead of like waking up tomorrow knowing you have to do something like a 9 to 5. So find some way to find that balance. Let's see. Let's look at what your life path is. That was my next question. It's over here. So what's your life path? The 2 of Wands. Finding the balance. Because it does seem like you're at a major point. Like, there's 3 really good options, is what I was saying in front of you. And that's why it's like so overwhelming. There's the 4 of Wands coming. It's like I was saying, starting your own adventure, starting your own, like, choosing your own path. Let's see, what's your life path, though? The King of Cups. That's that, like, healing energy, that pouring into other people and, like, pouring into yourself first to pour into other people. And so we see reconciliation, we see, like, healing right here. And so what's going to allow you to, what from the past maybe is going to, that you can heal, that will allow you to pour into other people? How can you remove your anxiety that you're having about the situation? How can you heal that? How can you heal your foundation the quickest? So that way you can go out and adventure. Because if you don't have a horse to ride on, you can't ride. You know what I mean? So you have to figure out how you're going to keep your horse fed first. Okay. And then we're going to look at your destiny. So your life path is the direction you're supposed to take in life. You're supposed to take a leadership role and you're supposed to be healing people in life, I feel like. And so we're going to look at the ways that you're supposed to achieve that. Spiraling into love. There is a major like love vibe here. And so like even with partnerships, this could be like marriage, like Libra energy, and we have the 10 of Cups, which is major love energy. And so like maybe you're choosing between like, this could be like a business partnership, this could be a romantic partnership, and then you're choosing between yourself too. And so it's always important to choose yourself first, to grow as a person first. Because if you're dragging other people down, then you're not gonna be able to pick them up. You see what I'm saying? And so you have to choose. You have to pick yourself up, and then you can pick other people up. Pour into your cup first. But let's see, what's your other destiny? 1 card, please. There we go. Piercing the veil. And so this card makes me think of like connecting with people and like connecting to like the earth on a higher level of consciousness. This is also making me think of like the Hermit card, like being alone, meditating, and using that to elevate your consciousness to heal other people. Because I do feel like you're definitely a healing person. And I feel like maybe you're supposed to take 2 of these paths or multiple of them at the same time. Maybe like 2 of them are easier to take together. We also see here she's calling in her soulmate kind of. And so I feel like taking this time to work where you are, to stay where you are, work where you are, will allow you to like really pierce the veil and like to connect with your soulmate, to bring that person in, which will allow you to get to this marriage, and then later this will be waiting on you still. That's what the vibe I'm getting. And so take it step by step, slowly, and like really plan it out. With here you have the planning too. And so I don't feel like any of them are going anywhere. I don't feel like any of them are really on a time limit. I feel like it's all in your head a little bit too. Because you seem to want to overthink it, like I was saying. Okay, and then let's see what your higher self's advice is and what your like earthly body is doing. So your higher self is like your spiritual self. It's your like perfect self, I guess. It's the body of you that's like in the 3D, that's your consciousness kind of. And you have a connection between that and like you here on earth. And so let's just see what the two cards come out as, what the two opinions are. This is gonna be your higher self, 6 of Swords. So your higher self is telling you to leave something behind. There's something that has to be left behind. Maybe you're still in this energy right here and it's telling you to make a decision. Because there's no bad decision in front of you. None of these options are bad. They may seem that way, but not one of them is bad because there's no bad cards there. They're all great. So make a decision and don't get stuck in indecision. And then let's see about your earthly energy, your physical body. We have the 3 of Pentacles. And so working. You're in a place where you're working very hard. Let's see. I want to get another advice layer too. But the 3 of Pentacles. So what's going to allow you to work in the direction of your dreams? How can you begin to start the journey? Instead of thinking about like the journey itself, like the long term, instead of thinking so much about that, how can you get started and plan as you go a little bit? That's what I'm kind of getting. How can you leave behind indecision, make a decision, and then like understand that you're going to slowly get there as you go on? And then we're going to ask for any last advice on the situation. Any last advice on how to make a decision? The 4 of Cups. So that goes back to that hope, remaining like optimistic, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, like knowing that you're going to get to this 10 of Cups, coming right on top of the 10 of Cups too. And so I definitely feel like maybe you should take it like a step by step by step. Like this takes a year, this takes a year, this takes a year. Going slowly towards it because you're supposed to be moving very steadily. That was your advice, I think. But the Knight of Pentacles, it was something there. You're supposed to be moving very slowly and steadily. The 3 of Swords. This is giving me the vibe of like, don't choose like love over money. Because like sometimes people lie, sometimes people cheat, sometimes people steal. But money, like at least you're stable then. At least you're comfortable. You can always love again. You can't always like, it's hard to pick yourself back up though. And you can't support somebody else if you're not picking yourself up first. So it's always important to prioritize yourself, your own money, and your own stability over any, like pretty much anything else. Making sure that you're stable and comfortable and able to support yourself. And maybe like healing any heartbreaks from the past, making sure you're not bringing that in. Because we do have the Hermit too, which is like going inward and looking at yourself and finding out why you are the problem instead of somebody else is the problem. Because a lot of times we get stuck in like a blaming mentality where we're like, I'm not the problem, it's their fault. This has happened, this has happened, this has happened, that's why I'm here. And so taking on the responsibility and saying, I am the problem, I am the reason that I haven't progressed forward, and seeing yourself as the problem, and then seeing how you can fix that problem without being like down on yourself, because that shouldn't, like, everyone, like, your life is about learning from your mistakes, really. So like you can't be down on yourself because you messed up. And then the 8 of Pentacles, I caught that really good. The 8 of Pentacles is mastery. And so coming to a place where you have mastered yourself, mastered your life, mastered the world around you. We're gonna get one more card. Taking the time to slowly, like, and then there we go, starting your own business, like doing your own thing is the last message. And so taking time to like experience everything. You have the 7, the 8, and the 9 right there too. Taking time to like move slowly, take steps towards this direction of like whatever your dream is, whatever your soul wants. So taking time to heal yourself, taking time to fall in love and like enjoy it, taking time to connect to the world and like experience everything, to have that adventure, to be that leader like in the end, because that's what you like, that's where you are being a leader right now, and you want to be an adventurer. So I feel like taking on a little bit of less harsh responsibilities on yourself and prioritizing your own like soul's journey a little bit more, prioritizing what's going to make you like happy, what's going to make you stable, and what's going to make you more comfortable. Anything else? We get there's the Hermit, the Knight of Swords, and the Empress. So I definitely feel like love is involved here. I feel like love is like kind of pulling your heart in some direction, because then we have the Empress, and so I feel like she's enticing you a little bit, and I feel like she's a good option. She has a 10 of Cups twice like around her, and so I feel like making sure that like you understand that once you get into this relationship, you don't want to have this past these past heartbreaks coming with you. Making sure you're healing and making sure you're being calculated and slow moving, because this This is like reckless energy, making sure you're going with that Knight of Pentacles and that Knight of Wands energy too, like being exciting, making sure you have something to offer them, making sure you're excited to offer them something. And there's excitement, making sure there's enthusiasm. Let's focus on what we need to leave behind and what we need to work on. And then with the Three of Pentacles too, I'm getting a vibe like you can have all these options if you just do them in order. And so I feel like you're at a crossroads and like you feel like you have to make a decision, but really you just need to figure out your starting point, figure out your middle point, figure out your end point. You just need to plan it and it'll all like fall into line. With the Queen of Pentacles too, you're very stable, you're your own like force, you're your own ball. And so you don't need to rely on other people if you don't want to. But maybe you are taking on too much. Let's see. Why the Ten of Wands so much? What's overwhelming you? The Fool. Oops. Seeing your journey as overwhelming. That's your perspective on the journey. And that goes back to this Queen of Swords, what we're leaving behind, this negative perspective that you are overwhelmed. I feel like you can take on less, you can find a way to not be overwhelmed. And so that should be your first priority, is figure out why you feel overwhelmed by these decisions and realize how grateful you are to have all these like options in front of you. Realize how amazing it is that you have all this stuff to carry and realize what your life is going to be after you finish. The work to get there is worth it. But yes, thank you. So High Pile 2, in today's reading, we're going to be looking at the crossroads you're at. I feel like a lot of us, or at least like generally, we're in like a place where we're having to make decisions that'll like affect the rest of our lives. And we're all making choices and like, we're trying to pick a path to the direction we want to go in. And so I just want to help with that. Your card is the King of Swords. And so I feel like you're trying to find like stability. And so you need to balance your mind. You need to find like a control over your thinking, your headspace. Maybe there's some difficulty like making decisions right now because your headspace is like a little bit chaotic. And so let's see where you are right now. Like what your current situation is. Mix it up real good first. Okay, so where are you at? What's your current situation? What's your current energy and your vibe? What's around you? The Ten of Cups. So there's lots of love around you. Maybe with you're logically thinking like a little bit too much. You need to like step into your heart space a little bit more. Or maybe you need to step out of your emotions a little bit. So like, I guess you have to take it as it resonates, but do you feel like you're making your decisions based on like too much emotion, too much enthusiasm, or are you being logical? Finding that balance might be important. Listening to your intuition. There's the High Priestess too. So that's pretty good. That means you're very intuitive. You're definitely in touch with your emotions and you are a logical thinker at the same time. And so maybe you struggle because you're very logical and very emotional. You have such a good connection to both that it's very difficult to know which one to listen to if they don't agree with each other. Right now you're working very, very hard. You're making very like crafty, like you're thinking of very smart ways. You're thinking of ways to like work harder or smarter, not harder. And so you're trying to like listen to your intuition and see what your heart guides you to work on. See what your heart guides you to do. And so that's a very good energy to be in. Very positive. What do you want? So what do you want in life? What are your wants and like desires to achieve while you're here on Earth? There's two cards. The Ten of Wands. Same thing as the last pile. I guess maybe that's like self-sabotaging energy. But it seems like you want to be overwhelmed. It seems like you want to carry too much weight. Maybe you enjoy like being, maybe that's a good thing though. Maybe you enjoy being like overwhelmed. You're somebody who needs like a lot of stimulation, a lot going on to like be able to achieve like anything. You can't like work in like calm environments. You need chaos. And then with the Six of Cups, I see like marriage vibes. I see like children. I see you having a family. And so I feel like you want to balance like your work and home life. I feel like you want to be overwhelmed by how much like good is in your life. I feel like, yeah, exactly. You want to be like flooded with emotions. You want to be flooded with like positive things. And so you're working very hard and making sure you're getting to that point. You seem very balanced because you have passion, you have earth, you have air and water, like all coming out in your spread. So what are you leaving behind? Because you're at a crossroads, you're about to make a decision of where you want to go, what's going to be left behind. Interesting. That's very interesting. So the Six of Cups. So it looks like you're going to be making a decision. It looks like you're with family and you're going to be making a decision to leave that family. But this is the card of reconciliation. And so you're making a decision to leave them to come back. And so that does look very difficult. That sounds very difficult. Maybe like you travel for work or something. And so like it's stressful because it's like you have to be away from your family for this long period of time. And you don't like that. The Wheel of Fortune. That's exactly what I'm getting. Like it's a traveling for work or like going to college kind of vibe. Like you're gonna have to leave something behind knowing you're gonna come back to it. And it's like, you know, you're gonna come back to it, but it's like, it's overwhelming the thought of doing things without this for a little while, whatever your Ten of Cups is, without your happiness for a little while. And so you know it's all gonna work out. It's just stressful thinking about like how to get there. You're running in circles a little bit. We have the Tower and the Five of Wands coming out over the Ten of Wands. So I guess your emotions, like even though they're very happy, they're very overwhelming is what I'm seeing. They're causing like almost a tower moment. Like you're having to actually make a decision. You're leaving behind like the tower. And so you're making the decision to leave behind something that's like very valuable to you. And it's like it's crumbling now. I feel like it's more like in your head that it's crumbling. I don't feel like anything's actually crumbling. I feel like you leaving it behind makes it seem like it's crumbling. But I do definitely feel like you're gonna come back. Like I said, with the Six of Cups twice, like you're coming back to it. It's just a pause, I feel like. It's the way the wheel has to turn, is like that you separate and then you come back. And so it's like the Tower is how you feel, I feel like. I feel like you feel like you're collapsing and you're going to collapse without them, whatever you're leaving. Okay, so how can you find a balance? What can you do to find balance? What can you do to like not feel like the Tower or not feel like you're leaving behind? You know what I mean? But yeah, what can you do to find balance? There was a sun right there that kind of flipped out. So that's some joy. So being grateful, being optimistic, and like happy with what you have already. Because you do have like this. This is still gonna be here. I feel this is 100% still gonna be here. Like you're coming back to it. And so being glad that you have that to come back to. Like you could not have that in general. You could just have the Page of Cups and work. You could not have happiness. But you do have happiness. And so if you get to work a little bit, set that back, that's a good thing. Because you're gonna get to come back to it. Not everybody has that. So how can you find balance? The Seven and the Eight of Pentacles come out together. So, getting a plan, understanding the plan, and following through with the plan is how you need to find balance. You need to make sure your moves are calculated. Everything is like written down and like is methodically planned out. And make sure you're working on the plan. And make sure that, like while you're gone, you're not getting into this sad place. You're not letting your tower collapse because you have work to do. You have business to do. With the Two of Swords too, like you're gonna feel cut off, I feel like, from your happiness. You're gonna feel for a little bit, there's gonna be a temporary setback that makes you feel like you lost everything, kind of. And so remembering that you haven't lost anything actually, that it's all coming back to you. And keeping that balanced point of mind. That's what will bring you the balance, is remembering that. Is like seeing the positive, seeing the sun. Remembering like your Ten of Cups has gone nowhere, it's just temporarily gone. Okay, so let's look at what your needs are. What do you need? What needs need to be met? So this will be like food, you know what I mean? What has to be done? What has to be accomplished? The Queen of Cups. So one of your needs is to care for yourself, to nurture yourself, so you can nurture other people first. And so in a relationship, it's important to take that quality like time to yourself and to be the thing that gives you like a reassurance. You can't rely on your partner for reassurance. You have to reassure yourself first. Because if you rely on your partner, then you're like dragging them down kind of, you know what I mean? And so reassuring yourself, being that mothering figure for yourself, mothering your own inner child. That's one of your needs. Another one is to see through the illusions that you might be feeling. And so like I said, you feel like you're gonna be cut off from this. And so seeing through that illusion is very necessary. Remembering the plan, like remembering that there's a plan involved. Death, the Assassin, the King of Swords. We have the King of Swords twice now, let's see that. So, remember that reminds me of remembering there's a plan. That this death has to happen, like it's a rebirth. It's not really a death, it's a rebirth. What's your needs? And the Eight of Swords. over the 8 of Pentacles. And so like the need is to not tie yourself up in this negative thinking, not tie yourself up in an illusion, to take care of yourself, realize you can take care of yourself. And so if you're leaving behind your parents and like you've never lived without them, you can accomplish this thing. There's no reason to like think you can't. That's just tying yourself up. I also feel like you're walking into a bad situation kind of. We got the Tower and this card, and so like I'm kind of seeing like you're leaving a good situation to go to a bad one. So like it looks like your job is to fix this bad situation. And so like you could be like a fireman, for example. And so you're going into a burning building and like you're risking your life knowing that you'll come back. And it's keeping that point of view that's like the King of Swords, keeping that like that tunnel vision on finishing the goal and making sure you accomplish it correctly so that you can come back safely and happily. Making sure you're not being the problem. You're supposed to be the solution, not the problem. And so making sure you're not being the problem. And then what are your options? So what crossroad are you at? What decisions are you trying to make? What are the 3, like I got 3 options. But yeah, what are your options? We have the Knight of Pentacles with the 4 of Cups. Interesting. What are your 3 options? What's option 2? The 7 of Swords with the 8 of Swords right under it. Or, yeah. I feel like a big vibe here really is like getting into your feelings. And so you have all this emotion and you're gonna lose it for a moment. And so going from all these good emotions to going to the same amount of bad emotion. And so I feel like you're gonna trick yourself into like being negative because you feel so much that it's gonna be overwhelming to feel it as a bad thing now. Or to feel like you lost it. And then we have the Queen of Wands. So being independent. Being able to take care of yourself and focus on your needs. The World at the bottom of the deck there. I don't know why I looked at it either. So maybe you are gonna be traveling like far distances. I am getting like a big fireman vibe. I don't know why. That was kind of interesting. I've never thought about it like that. If you're a fireman, that's pretty cool. We have the Prince of Wands. And the World did fall out. That's funny. Okay. I'm seeing 2 options here that are very like contrasted. And so one of them is to move very slowly in a direction and staying the same. This one's giving me like not leaving home vibes. This is giving me like, instead of choosing to leave and come back, you're just choosing to stay. And so this one is giving me adventure in the world and like all this possibility and all this stuff. And it's coming out under the 10 of Cups too. And so I feel like leaving is what's gonna save this 10 of Cups. I feel like if you don't leave, you're gonna be stuck in this 4 of Cups, this apathy, this sadness. And then over here we have the 7 of Swords and the Magician. And so creating like, being tricky and like trying to find a way to be balanced between both of these 2 options. And like, that's gonna create like an illusion almost, that's what I'm seeing. So that's literally what I'm seeing is you can choose to be this nurturer, this healer, and like go out and adventure and come back and get your 10 of Cups back. Or you can choose to like stay in the same place, stay like at a steady pace, not grow as a person, and become apathetic and tie yourself up in this negative situation. Or you can choose to find a middle path and still end up in like an illusion, something that's not real and something that's not like for you. Okay. This one was very like, I feel like very, it's definitely pointing you towards like this 10 of Cups energy. And so it's just trying to remind you that like it's a circle, it's a cycle. You're leaving behind, like you're going in, you're finishing it. And so you have to start it to finish it, to do it, to get it done. Just a second. Sorry. Ooh. And then let's see what your next step is. So what decision should you make? The High Priestess. So really what it all boils down to, and that's falling around top of the Page of Cups, which I saw it when the Page of Cups came out. And so definitely follow your intuition. You know the right answer in the situation. Don't let your anxiety, don't let your fear, don't let this illusion like trap you. You know what decision needs to be made. You know what you need to do. Follow your intuition. Tap out of like that headspace for a second and really follow what your gut is saying. Like don't think about it. Don't go with emotions. Don't go with anything but what you're like, what you're being told, like what makes the most sense in your soul to like do. To follow that. The Ace of Pentacles, an opportunity. I have like goosebumps. I don't know. I feel like chills. The Eight of Wands. What's your next step forward? Maybe you don't have a lot of time to make this decision. Maybe time is like, we have the Ace of Cups, the Two of Cups. And so I really do feel like you're leaving behind like a family or something. You're leaving behind like, maybe you just got this family back too. It's like, you just got married. Like this feels like a vibe where it's like, this is what I'm getting. So like y'all were high school sweethearts and then you left and then you came back to each other like 10 years later. And now you have these kids and now you have to leave again. And so it's like you're having to leave behind someone you just got back. That's the vibe I'm feeling. It's like, it's stressful because you have to do it right now. You have to make the decision like very soon, I feel like. And I feel like you feel like it's like a tower's falling and like you have to go save the tower. It's a big like energy. Boom, and last card. The Ace of Cups. I'm gonna get one more. I said last card, but I jinxed myself. Two more. Looking at yourself and deciding how you can solve the problem. The Hermit's all about traveling inward. And so I feel like it's gonna be difficult for you to nurture yourself, like I was saying. It's gonna be difficult for you to travel inward while you're leaving your stability behind, while you're leaving your foundation behind. And so understanding that like in your heart, you're the only thing that you need. You are your own home. Like how a snail has its like shell in the back, you are your own home. Your body is a vessel. It's like, that's where your soul lives. The physical reality around you really doesn't matter. Even if you're homeless and you're a traveler, like you can still be happy. You can still have everything you need because you are all you really need. You have to be the change you want. And so not letting that anxiety take over, making sure you're healing your own anxiety and like making sure these new emotions, this new life that's coming for a moment, you're embracing it. You're embracing change and you're embracing what you have to do. You're taking on that responsibility that you have to do. You're not allowing your anxiety to make the decision for you because you should never let your anxiety make decisions for you. That's like, it's a really negative way of living. I got really bad about that like in high school. I was scared to talk to people and so like I wouldn't talk to people. I would just keep my head down and walk around. And so it's very important to like not let your anxiety rule you like that because then I didn't have a lot of friends and I was very like closed off. And so it's very important to like be open to new things, be open to what scares you and step outside of your comfort zone. With the world, that you have a whole world of opportunities to like explore. So don't trap yourself in a small bubble. Explore. And let's see what your life path is. What is your life path? We're gonna put the life path there. Okay. And these are your other two cards that we were gonna use since they all came out together. Okay. Your life path is one of healing like addictions, healing like traps. This goes back to the Eight of Swords energy, wherever that was at, right here. And so like, what are you allowing to like take over your life? Is it anxiety? Like, what are you allowing to like control you? Because I feel like your life path is to heal those wounds. To heal like that, like, to heal like the things that are trapping you. To heal that mindset maybe. And so it could be just a mindset. It could be a career path that you're not happy with. It could be anything like that. So finding a way to heal that and make that change, knowing there could be like a tower moment, but everything will be reconciled. Everything will come back. Okay, and then let's see what your destiny is. So how you're meant to achieve your life path. Pele Summon. So Pele is the Hawaiian like creation goddess, I'm pretty sure. And so this is like telling you to call on like the earth's energy and like ask for like the courage you need. So ask for like for God to give you the courage you need. Whatever your higher power, ask your higher power to bring that courage into you and like summon their energy and use that to accomplish your task. Again, fireman vibes. 33 is also the master teacher number. And so I feel like you're going to be learning a lot through this experience. Like if you missed out on this experience, you would no longer be like, you're going to learn so much on this experience. I feel like you're going to become much wiser because of this experience. And so you would be missing like a fundamental part of who you are if you missed this experience. And then Green Taurus. And I feel like this is that Ten of Cups energy going back, like it's spiraling too. So like, I feel like understanding that the heart goes beyond just like what you can see. Like your heart can reach somebody from any distance and your heart can like always be healed like You see what I'm saying? And then I feel like on Earth, you're in this illusion right now. You're not making a decision, and you're trying to wait and let the decision be made for you. And then your higher self is really saying like, move, like go. Because this is the Chariot. The Chariot's all about movement. And then this is the Moon. This is Pisces, this is Cancer. And Pisces is all about dreams and fantasy, and like Pisces is in their head and they're a little bit all over the place because they're confused a little bit. And it's not confused, but it is like dazed and confused energy. Like they don't really know what's going on a lot of the time. And where Cancer is the opposite. Cancer is very deliberate. They're family. They're like, if you threaten my family, I'm gonna murder you kind of vibe. You know what I mean? Like they're very like pinpoint exact. They're very on the T. And so I feel like you need to get out of this like head space and get into your heart space, your emotions. Because Pisces is Neptune and Jupiter. And so this is like your sacral chakra and your sacral chakra. So this is operating out of your sacral chakra. This is operating out of your heart chakra, or your third eye, actually. And so this is operating out of like a place of planning, and this is operating out of a place of like sex and creativity. Do you want to be in a place of pleasure, or do you want to be in a place of success? Where do you see yourself going, and how do you see yourself getting there? And then let's get general advice to end it with. Also, like the King of Swords, like this is like thinking about things, and then this is your third eye, and so it's your mind, and using your ability to like focus on something and get it to get there. And so logically, what should you be focusing on, and how can you get it? Because if you focus on something, you will achieve it, unless you're just not focusing. Literally, the Page of Cups. Your advice is to follow your intuition again, with the High Priestess too. You know, to make this step to leave whatever it is that you need to leave behind, even if it does feel like you're exploding. You have to, like, for a moment, you have to. This is a volcano too. This card always reminds me of a volcano. You see he's lighting the match, but it's like, this is like butterflies in your stomach. It feels like a volcano is erupting out of your like stomach. And so you have this literally on top of like summon the volcano. Like use that butterfly energy to actually make the push forward. And then the Chariot next to it. But two more cards. The Two of Cups. Let's see, one more card for the Two of Cups. Because I am getting like a Two of Cups to a Hermit vibe, like a separation. That's what I've been getting the whole time, kind of. And the Emperor. So having that like, that motivation to do what has to be done despite the fact that it's gonna suck. Maybe it'll suck. Maybe, I mean, I'm sure firemen, like I was saying, do not like going into this fire, burning down houses. But they know they have to do that in order to save people, in order to be the savior that they're supposed to be, in order to help people. And so making tough decisions and making that tough decision to do what you don't want to succeed. Thinking logically with your heart and using your focus to achieve that goal as quickly as possible. Finish that mission and then get back home. That's the vibe I'm getting now, so. Thank you for watching the video. Have a good one. Hi, Pile 3. In today's video, we're talking about like what crossroads you're at, what decisions you're making, and how to make like a clear decision when you're like stuck between like multiple. And so like a crossroads is like where the roads cross, and it's like you have to go left, right, or forward, and like you're trying to make a decision. So we're trying to help you figure that out. You chose this blue piece of glass that's like covered in like dust and rocks and stuff. It's very dusty. But yes, very pretty. It's like a diamond in the rough. And then your card is the Ten of Wands. And so I feel like there's an overwhelming conversation that needs to be had. Like there's something that needs to be talked about, and it's very like stressful. It's very on your mind, and it's closing your throat chakra up. Maybe you're so passionate about something, you're so excited about something, you just can't talk about it because like you're too chaotic, too flustered to like understand what to say. Okie dokie. So we're gonna look at where you are right now. So we know you're at a crossroads. We're gonna see what like energy surrounds you and where you are. Get the energy like consistent. And let's see. So where are you? One card falls out. That's what I was getting, like overwhelmed. This is the Four of Swords, which is like taking rest, some self-care vibes. Before this, I was thinking about like making a deck of playing cards like that have self-care tips on them, because like they make self-care like tarot decks, and so I was gonna make my own basically, and I was thinking about that literally. So I feel like self-care is a big vibe here. The way you take care of yourself. Not letting yourself get overwhelmed, and so figuring out what's overwhelming you and like not letting it stress you. We got the Lovers, Gemini energy. In your head, maybe thinking too much. Maybe your mental health is what we're talking about. Let's see. Because like Gemini's all about like mental energy, mental stimulation, thinking. It's the third house of thinking, it's thoughts. So lots of mental stimulation, I feel like. And then reconciliation. Or no, this is luxury. This is the Nine of Cups. So I feel like there's a lot around you, a lot of good things, and you're overwhelmed by what's around you. There's too much around you, and like there's too much good around you. So, and you're exhausted. You've been too happy to experience like too much. You've been experiencing too much. And it's time to take a rest. It's time to take a break for a moment. So that's where you're at currently. That's your current energy, I feel like. Okay, so what do you want? So that's our next question. What do you want in life in general? And like, what do you want right now? We're gonna get 2 cards for what do you want? The 2 of Pentacles and the Chariot. So I feel like you want to make a decision. You want to quit juggling something. There's something that you're juggling. So it could be like work and home. It could be like yourself and others. It could be 2 people. It could be anything. I feel like you're juggling 2 things. And you want to make a decision. You want to go like somewhere. You want to do something. So you want direction. You want literally direction. That's what the reading's about too. So perfect. I feel like maybe you're just unsure of what to do at all. You're kind of at a standstill. So you're unsure of what to manifest, I feel like you have so much like passion, so much potential, and you're just not sure where to funnel that, how to funnel it. You have all this stuff around you and you're like not sure what to do with it. Like there's just too many opportunities, too much potential right now. So what are you leaving behind? So you're gonna be making a decision, and that means you're gonna be changing something in your life. You're gonna be leaving something behind. And so we wanna look at that. What's being left behind to like journey on to like a new thing? What's being left behind? Take this one. The Star. Interesting. We have the 3 of Pentacles. So maybe I'm getting the vibe like you're leaving like a job that like you didn't have hope for anymore. Let's see. A job that was like draining you. The Fool. What's being left behind? So maybe you already have made big decisions. You've already you've chosen I feel like maybe you've chosen a path that was destructive. Like if you've already chosen like to go on a negative path. And so now you're being like rerouted. Literally, the 6 of Swords is like leaving something behind. And so I feel like you've already had like this big tower moment or this big like world-changing moment. Your life has been changed. You've already made decisions that have trapped yourself in like a non-hopeful, like you've left your hope behind and you're in like a situation that you're discontent with. You're unhappy where you are and like you feel stuck. You feel like you have to finish this journey like that you don't want to finish. And so you feel like you're on a path that you can't get out of. You feel trapped. And so this is saying like you're leaving that behind. You're going to like reroute again. And so maybe you just went through a crossroads. It's time to go through another crossroads. It's time to like reroute, time to fix that. Time to fix the first mistake, which was going on this journey in the first place, I feel like you completely want to change things. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty accurate. What will bring balance into your life? What will bring balance and like bring you to a centered state of mind? How can we center ourselves? It goes back to self-help, or not self-help, self-care, that resting and like taking a break. Part of your job, the White Feather Tarot on YouTube, she's the one who says this, so I can't say it's me. But she says that like taking a break is part of your job, because if you don't rest, you can't work. And so your job is to be rested. If you show up to work tired, then you're not doing your job. You didn't do your job to begin with. And if you're tired, you need a smoke break, like you need to go take a smoke break. You have to. It's part of the job. You can't work on empty. It's like when I was a pizza delivery driver, like they had to let me go get gas. I can't drive without gas. And so like, yes, I probably should have got gas before I went to work, but you see what I'm saying? Like you have to take breaks sometimes. Okay, what will balance you? Right now, there's lots of options. And so picking one option is what I'm seeing. I feel like you're being guided towards one of them too, because there's a little dragonfly there, and dragonflies are like spirit guides. They're like things helping you make decisions. And so I feel like you have all these options and it's time to pick one of them, and that'll balance you. So maybe right now you started a journey where you're doing multiple things, you're doing too much at once, and so it's overwhelming. And I feel like honing in on one thing is what you need to do. We have lots of Cups energy with the Lovers and the Chariot. That's some interesting energy, because like the Chariot's about family, it's about Cancer, it's the moon vibes. And then we have the Star, that's Aquarius, and then we have Gemini, and then like there's just lots of like Lots of energy. This is a really good or really good spread so far. I feel like you left behind something you were hoping for, and so like this could be a relationship or something, but like you feel like hope is in the past. Like there's no reason to hope anymore, I feel like. And you should leave that behind. You should find that hope again. Like that's what the Six of Swords is telling me. Figure out what you want to manifest. Because I feel like you still don't know necessarily what you want to manifest. There's too many things. You're juggling too many things. And so you can't focus on anything and you can't create anything because of that. And then let's see what your needs are. What do you need to accomplish? What do you need to like, what do you need to in order to manifest your goals? What do you need to make a decision, and what do you need to accomplish? What are like the necessary things? Because you're at this crossroads, you're about to make a decision. What are like the necessary things that you need to come out of this decision? This is really interesting too. The Seven of, so we have 7, 7, 7. I was getting a big sevens vibe because I saw this card and I was like, there's multiple sevens, and there wasn't multiple sevens. So I didn't say it, but then there's 3 sevens. And so 7 is all about knowledge and assessment and planning, and like, it's about options. It's about having variety and stuff. 7's my life path number 2, but 7s are about like making decisions. And so right here I see like, you need to make a decision. You need to figure out what you want. And so you need to use your heart and figure out what you want. You have all these things on the shelf, you need to pick one. That's the vibe I'm definitely getting. So I feel like, yeah, you started a journey that's very like, it's very broad, it's not very focused. You need to find a focus. With the 10 of Wands, it's overwhelming. You're doing too much at once. This is very clear too. This is like very, very like precise. I was saying that about the last pile too. It's like, it makes a lot of sense. What are your needs? What current needs need to be met? Wow, the 4 of Wands. That's interesting. You need to, I feel like, celebrate your wins already. I feel like something you're not doing is celebrating. I feel like you've started a new journey, which means you completed something, and so maybe you forgot to be excited about it. You're in this place with the 9 of Cups. You have all this luxury around you. You have all this expensive stuff. You have all this money, like all this something. All these people that are really valuable to you. You have everything you need around you, and you're not celebrating that. And so that could be part of your self-care. That could be part of the resting, is enjoying like what you actually have. The 10 of Cups. Yes, the 10 of Cups. It's beautiful. And so something that you need is emotional like stability, emotional secureness. You need to like have some love, have some guidance, have like a partnership, have a leader. Like you need some family vibes, which goes back to that Cancer. I'm gonna get 2 more for the needs. Equal give and take, equal trade. Let's see. And the 5 of Swords. Let me try to see what this card was. I can't remember. Lovers. So this is a big vibe around like a relationship. Maybe you have a family, or like maybe you're a separated family, and that's why it's hard to juggle like having your kids and not having your kids later and stuff. And there needs to be equal give and trade. You still don't know what you want. You need to figure out what you want. There's some arguments going on, I feel like. There's some fighting. Like, I don't feel like this is a huge part of it, but there needs to be a resolution to this conflict. What's the conflict? Let me ask, just real quick. The 6 of Wands. So I feel like the conflict is internal, is what I'm getting. You're fighting within yourself because you had this victory, you completed this major cycle in your life, and you chose a new direction to go in, and now you feel like it's a bad direction. Now it's making you're rethinking your decision that you made previously. Sometimes, when you make a decision though, you do have to stick with it. Even if it was the wrong decision, like you have to stick through with it. And so like, I think about this a lot, like when you break up with somebody and like you get back together, and then you break up again, and then you get back together, and then you break up again, and then you get back together. It's just like repeating the same cycle. You're just hurting each other, and you're making each other hate each other. And so if you broke up, you should just stay broken up for a long enough period of time for you to both like heal, and then come back together a year from then, and like you'll miss each other that much, and like you'll love each other that much more. You know what I mean? And so like I'm getting a vibe of like, stick to your decision. Whatever decision you made, stick with it. That's kind of what I'm getting, yeah. And so like you left something behind. You need to leave behind right now, I feel like, this internal conflict. So maybe if you left a relationship behind, you need to accept that like right now is about healing, and then you get to the relationship again later. Like, because that love that you had in the beginning is gonna come back. And if you continue to be with each other while you're not like in a state of mind where you can be loving to each other, then you're just gonna continue to hurt each other more, and eventually you'll hate each other. And so take the time to separate and allow yourself to heal, and then come back together healed so y'all can then be together. Because if you're together while you're both broken, you're just gonna destroy things. Even with family sometimes. Like, I met this guy one time who had he had been separated from his family, and so he hadn't seen any of his children in like 3 years. And he was just saying how sad he was that he wasn't able to see them. And I was telling him, I was like, well, you need to heal yourself first. If you were around your children right now, would you be able to like help them, or would you be hurting them? And so being away from them, he's inspiring them because he's taking a loss to himself, because it's like he's showing them that like sometimes you have to sacrifice what you want for what you need and for what others need. And then they will respect that later when you come back healed, because they will respect that you went from being bad to good. You healed. They'll see that you healed. Okay. Find balance needs. And so what are your options? Yes, that's what are your options? Let's look at 3 options around you right now. The King of Cups. That's giving me big father vibes, like big like family vibes again. Cancer. What are your options? The 9 of Pentacles. Loving the path you're on. So I feel like you're in a path that you don't necessarily want to be on. It's not very hopeful, but like it's maybe a necessary path. We'll see. I'll ask again. I'll ask specifically for that. If you need to change directions or continue the direction you chose. Because I feel like you already made a decision, like to pick a direction. We have the 7 of Swords. Maybe you're not being honest with and maybe the decision you made wasn't an honest decision. And so maybe you made a decision that you thought would be beneficial to other people, and then like you shot yourself in the foot a little bit. The Ace of Cups. That card felt funny. It was on the bottom. The Queen of Swords. Is that the card I was feeling? Yeah. It has a candle wax on it. We'll leave it. We'll use it. The Queen of Swords. Why the Queen of Swords? The 2 of Cups. So maybe this relationship really was very toxic, very argumentative, there wasn't a lot of emotions there. Y'all loved each other, y'all were connected. It was just there was arguments, there was apathy, there wasn't happiness for each other. You see the little butterfly, it was a wish come true that you weren't able to appreciate the wish, even though it was a wish come true. There was victory here. You see this card? This card means victory, but do they look happy? They look very stressed. And so it seems like there's victory here, but there was not happiness with that victory. And so I feel like one of your options is to go back to where you were before. And so I feel like, and this is giving me relationship vibes, very major relationship vibes. Maybe don't go back to where you were from until you've changed. So you can go back, you can make a circle and end in the back. But if you just go here and then loop and then go back, you won't be healing. You need to go all the way around the big circle and change, make some change. You need to come back with a healed version of this trickiness is what I'm seeing. You need to come back going from the Queen of Swords energy to the King of Cups energy. So going from narrow-mindedness is what I was thinking, but I'm not sure if that's what I was trying to say. But if you need to go from this place of harsh words to using your heart and controlling your emotions and being able to be stable and be caring and nurturing while still being in control. As well with the 9 of Pentacles, it's using the things around you. And so using the tools around you with your heart, using the tools around you to accomplish as much as you can with what's around you, because you have all this luxury around you, like I was saying. You're in a very beautiful place potentially, and you're not seeing that right now. You're not taking advantage of the beauty that's around you. And so you need to take time to go through this journey of this journey you don't want to be in. You don't necessarily want to be on this journey, but it's going to lead you back to where you want to be. I feel like you really are on a path it's going in a circle, and this circle is necessary. That's what I'm saying. You can loop back, take a shortcut back home, where you can finish the circle and complete it. We have major soulmate vibes, I feel because of the Lovers card, which is a perfect union. Then we have the Ace of Cups, we have the Ace of Cups again, we have the 4 of Wands, which is marriage. This is your soulmate. And so I feel like you're having to leave your soulmate behind for a little while. I feel like there's internal conflicts between both of you that have to be resolved. And so this war needs to end within yourself, and it's gonna take a lot to get there. But then you're gonna be able to come back and there's gonna be this equal give and trade. Because on this side, we have lots of fighting, we have love, but we still have lots of fighting. And so I feel like you need to go from this to this. You need to discover what you really want with yourself. What are you fighting for? Figure out what you're fighting for. And if you're fighting for nothing, figure out why you're fighting at all. The Seven of Swords energy is interesting. So we have 7, 7. There's lots of sevens. It's a very lucky number. And so seeing like how lucky you are to like have a second chance with this person potentially, or have this person in general. I met a couple people that I would call my twin flames kind of, but like thinking about like how lucky you are to know that there is somebody out there that understands you that much, even if you can't be with a person, knowing that they exist and like thinking about like all the good that they've given you already, like that's very important. Like try not to get more than you can have. This is about using what's around you. If it's not at your reach, you can't use it. So don't wish for it. You know what I mean? Like don't try to hope that one day you'll be able to grab something that you can't grab. If it's not for you, you can't have it. So don't wish for things you can't have. Use what's around you. Take advantage of the things that you have control over. And try not to want what you can't have. Let's see. What is your next step forward? So we have all these decisions. We have this cycle I feel like you're in, where it's like you just began a new one and you left behind something you were hopeful for. What's the next step forward? What's the next decision you need to make? This pile seems very quick, like a shorter message, but we'll see. I don't know how time is that. Ooh. Relationship, your next step forward, Ace of Cups. This is interesting. 3 Aces of Cups. Maybe you have like multiple partners, like you have not committed to anybody yet, and one of them really is like a good match. And maybe you're scared to like pick that match. You're scared to like make a decision and lose the other options. But this is definitely saying like pick one thing. Like don't be doing multiple things at once. Funnel in on one thing and like choose that one place to navigate your life through. Choose one lens to focus through. The Ace of Cups so many times. Maybe this means like a new partner's coming. Like you feel like you left your soulmate behind and like a new soulmate's coming kind of energy. The 4 of Pentacles, a new home. Your next step forward is building a home for yourself. So getting out of this juggling energy. You want to leave this jungle and like get to stability, get to ground. I'm gonna get a couple more cards for your next step forward. Let's clarify the Ace of Cups and the 2 of Cups. The 3 of Wands. Let's clarify the 4 and the Ace. The 2 of Swords. So right now I feel like you're not wanting to make a decision to leave something behind as well. You're not looking at it. Like this is the big crossroads card for me too. This is like when you get to a crossroads, not being able to make a decision, not knowing what decision to make. And so manifest clarity of that decision. With the throat chakra energy, my throat's like feeling blocked again. Like I feel like your throat chakra could be blocked. You could be not wanting to say things, like not wanting to say something that you feel or something that you know. Lots of 2s to balance. There's 3 of Wands twice. So you want manifestation. You want to manifest a reunion, I feel like you want to manifest this relationship back. Or you want to manifest, maybe you don't realize that you want a new relationship. Maybe you're trying to hold on to the past and you want to go back to the past, but really what you want is a new relationship. And so you're not realizing that you're manifesting a new relationship. You think you're manifesting reconciliation, and you should be manifesting a new relationship. You should be manifesting success with somebody else. And this could be a family thing. Like you could have a family with this person, and like so it's like you feel like you're going to betray your kids because like you're leaving their mom behind for another person. But like if you're holding their mom back, if you're hurting their mom in some way, then you're helping those kids, and they just can't realize that yet because they're kids. Because sometimes kids do get hurt by things that like decisions that adults make, but that's because they're children. They can't understand that, you know? And as an adult, you grow out of, you understand that later. And so your kids might like dislike you, and that makes it a hard decision to make. Or that's how you may feel, and that's what may happen. Your kids may think poorly of you, but that's what with kids, like they don't know, they don't understand, and so they will understand later, and then you'll be able to reunite, like healed. Because right now I'm not getting I'm not getting reconciliation vibes. I'm not getting like coming together again. I feel like that can happen in the future potentially, who knows? But like there's not any like reconciliation in the spread so far. So it's new things I feel like that are coming in for you. You're going on a new journey. Like you already started this new journey too, but like it's a new journey that is completely new. It's completely brand new. With the aces, like the 3 Aces of Cups, it's a completely new love if you're getting into love. And you have a lot of love to offer somebody. Like with the 10 of Cups right there. And the Chariot. Like you're a family-oriented person. You're a very like intuitive, very loving, very caring person. So you have a lot to give. And it's just making sure you're giving that to the right places. I looked at the time, it's 21 minutes. I was definitely wrong on not taking long. Okay, now let's look at your life path. What's your life path? So this is like what your mission is to accomplish on Earth. What's your life path? The Emperor. So I feel like your life path is to take control of your life. So maybe you were being controlled by things. The Lovers, maybe you have, like, you were somebody, like, you married a gold digger. Like, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting right this very second. Like, you married somebody who is, like, controlling you, and they were using you for your money, and, like, you loved this person, but they didn't love you back necessarily. And, like, that's the Queen of Swords energy I'm seeing. You're wanting to go back to this Queen of Swords, where it's like you love somebody that didn't love you back, and it was, like, it was amazing to you, but, like, they didn't love you back, and so they weren't amazing to you. It was just, it could have been amazing, but they weren't. You know, you see what I'm saying? Like, they were hurt, and so they were hurting you. And so I feel like you need to take control of your life. You need to be the one that's making these decisions. Your mission is to make decisions for yourself. Your life path can change too, but that's just what I'm seeing right now, is like you need to make decisions for yourself. You need to be in control of your life. You need to be the one manifesting your reality. You don't need to let, like, somebody else try to manifest your reality for you. Make your own decisions. So whatever decision, don't listen to me then. But whatever decision you make it based on what you want, like, are hoping for. So you're leaving behind hope. Make the decision to not leave behind hope. If somebody else told you, well, do this instead of this, don't listen to them. Pick your own hope. Pick your own path. This card fell on the floor, the Page of Wands. Interesting. And then one more. This is your higher self. This is your Earth, like, what you're doing on Earth. So I see that right now, like, you're achieving what you're supposed to be. Like, I feel like you're doing what you're supposed to be. I've been talking kind of negatively, I feel like, too. But, like, the Six of Wands is about victory. So your higher self's telling you you're going to have victory. And you are enthusiastically, like, moving towards victory. The Six of Wands is on top of the Six of Wands again, too. So you're definitely going to be victorious in this. We have 6, 6, 7, too. Which is great energy. With the Three of Wands in the middle, like, manifesting that. And so, like, if you feel like you're separated from your family for a moment, the family is coming back. Like, family, there's travel back together. Like, that's great. And let's look at your destiny. So your life path is how you're, like, what you're meant to do in life. And then your destiny is how you're meant to achieve that life path. And so let's see how you're meant to achieve it. The fruit of life. So a tree has to grow up and, like, produce flowers and then bear fruit to, like, make new trees. And so, like, you're supposed to be maturing and, like, creating real things. And then wheels of light, self-healing and, like, alignment. This is giving me, like, Kundalini vibes, like getting in touch with yourself and being the thing that controls your life. Putting yourself at the center of the attention and, like, realizing that if you're the center of attention, then you will be your best self for other people. You can't take care of anybody else if you're not taking care of yourself. And so by achieving your life path, by doing and taking control of your life, you will be helping other people. Aligning with yourself, really getting into your own path and, like, choosing your own, like, journey. We have the Ace of Cups, the Two of Cups, the Ace of Cups, the Two of Cups. Like, I feel like if you're worried about love at all, love is definitely in your life. Like, if the Lover's card was in, like, where you are now, so you may even be in a relationship. You maybe have like, this could be somebody who has, like, you have, like, 6 wives that don't know about each other, and you, like, go between all of them, I feel like. But, like, I'm not saying that's you, but, like, it's a thought. And so, like, maybe you have, like, multiple families like that in a way. And it's like you need to choose not to spread yourself that thin. You need to choose yourself, pay your child support, and, like, do the best you can to fix the situation that you're in. If you're in a really bad situation that you can't fix, like, you can't make a good out of it, like, if you're in such a bad situation where it's like there's no good choice anymore, then you can still pick a better choice than you're choosing now. You can still make it better. May not make it good, but you can still make it better. And so choosing to make it better is the thing. So I do see, like, difficult choices as well. Using what you have. If you don't have it, you can't use it. So using what you have to make what you want. Okay. And let's get some just general advice. This is the last part of the spread. Strength. So we have Leo and Aries coming out at the end. The Ace of Wands. Do we have an Ace of Wands? I didn't think so. I don't think we had an Ace of Wands yet. And so finding that spark again. So maybe you're somebody who's been very emotional recently, like trying to step away from your emotions into a place of, like, passion, into a place of drive. So having, like, you have to have all the elements to create things, to birth life. And so you've been too emotional. It's time to step into passion. What's going to passionately make you want to create? What's going to passionately make you want to align yourself to get this victory? Which I feel like you're excited still. I feel like you're enthusiastic because you have the Page of Wands as, like, your current energy, like your earthly energy. The Moon. Advice. The Ace of Swords. Almost done. The Two of Cups again. And Justice. Woof. Woof. Maybe there's like legal problems involved as well. This is big, heavy energy too. So taming your shadows. There's a big element of duality in this entire reading. I was talking about sevens earlier, saying there was like lucky. And so like maybe you feel lucky and unlucky at the same time. Maybe you feel like you know everything and you know nothing at the same time. And so realizing that like that is kind of how life works. You learn everywhere you go is a new experience. Like everything you do is a new experience. So no matter how much you know, everything is going to be new still. You know what I mean? Nothing ever happens twice. It's like I was trying to explain this to my mom. We were talking about astrology, right? And it's like how like no two people can be born at the exact place and the exact same time. Like you can't stand within somebody and have like they would be in the same bed. You see what I'm saying? And so like astrology centers on where you were born and what time. And so like nobody can ever be born at that exact location again. Two things can't be on like inside of each other. You see what I'm saying? In a 2D plane. In a 2D plane, that's the difference, yeah. And so let's see, what was I saying with that? You're looking at things like they're on a 2D plane. You're like, you see a list in front of you and it's like written out, right? And so everything's in order and stuff, but we live in a 3D world. And so things can be stacked on top of each other. So reorganizing that list into like a 3-dimensional list, seeing more like dimensions to your like life. And that's kind of giving me the sacred geometry vibe. And so like seeing how there's like more involved than just like bullet points and like simple things like that. Seeing how you need to make a logical, emotional, and a passionate decision, how you can do multiple things at once without spreading yourself thin. You really need, I feel like plan is a thing. You need to align yourself. And so you really need to take some time inward to align yourself. Maybe that's the cycle of like the big circle you're going in. You need to take this big circle so that you can find alignment with yourself. And so that way you can spread yourself thinner. You know what I mean? Because if you're spread too thin, then you can't do anything. And so you need to come back, find your center, become one, and then achieve everything. All those 7 of Cups energy, the 7 of Cups, those at the bottom. So you can accomplish all of those things is what I'm getting. It's just you have to do them one at a time, individually. What else? I think I said that in this file, but what else does White Feather Tarot say? She says, try not to do everything at once. What is it? Check off one thing at a time, and slowly but surely you'll check off everything. Like, slowly but surely do everything. Like, but do it one at a time individually. She doesn't say it like that, but like something like that. She gives some good advice though. So like if you're trying to start a business, you want to like write your thing and you want to do this and you want to do that, all of it at the same time, like so that way your business looks good and it's out, but you have to take it one at a time. When I did my Etsy, I just finished like writing the like description of what my business is like a week ago. And I've had my Etsy for months. It hasn't had a description because I haven't had time to write it. I wanted to put, if I was going to write it, I wanted to write it right. And so I waited till later. It was missing until then, but you see what I'm saying? Like you have to, if you can't get to it now, you can't. And so you have to do what you can now and later do what you can. And you need to communicate that with people. I feel like it's so overwhelming that you don't know how to explain to people what your plan is and stuff too. And like with the throat chakra, like it's covered up and dirty. And so you need to communicate that to people. You need to make like what you're doing known, maybe. You need to speak to people about it. Maybe speak with people to find new ideas, new directions. Yeah, this is giving me like an illusion over your throat chakra. So it's like, you can't speak because like everyone else thinks you're elusive and stuff. And it's like, no, you have a plan. You know where you're going, maybe. You know what you're doing and you don't want to, but like, so you're not talking about it. And so people just don't understand what you're doing. But if you explained it better, if you had told the people, then there would no longer be like an illusion. You see what I'm saying? There's also an element that you need to tame your ego here with the Strength card. And so overcoming like the things about you that are like, you don't like, overcoming like, maybe you feel like you failed. So overcoming that, like that feeling of failure. You're not a failure, you messed up, it's time to succeed now. And so if you're still holding on to that failure, letting that go and move into succeeding. Choosing to be a winner instead of a loser. Because it really is a choice. And you have victory twice, like choosing to be that winner. And so right here you see like a young person that's enthusiastic, choosing to not be like young, choosing to be a winner. That's what I'm getting. Thank you.